Alrighty, stop Unity if you're still in it. Let's jump back to our code here. And we are going to do 1 and 2 now. Sides 1 and 2. These are a little bit more complicated. Because, well, let's jump back to, I'm going to jump back to Unity. You don't have to. Let's go up here. We'll go to the scene view. I'm going to look straight down and hold on. First, I am going to do something I wish I would have done all along. I'm going to plop a little piece of code in here to mark our center chunk as a different color. So the column is equal to 1 and the row is equal to 1. Then we'll make it 3. Else, actually, I think 2. Else it'll be 0, our default color. You don't have to do this. And now we have a black chunk in the center. Come on. I'm also going to move my map height generation level. And I'm going to move my smoothing down to about 1 where it's very smooth. And that way we can get up close and personal. So we are about to get this side 1, and then side 2. But if you notice, in this case, side 1, hold on, side 1 on this nugget actually is the chunk behind us. Side 1 on this nugget, though, is the chunk to our left. Side 1 on the last nugget is the chunk to the left in front of us. Excuse me, side 2 is the one left at the front of us. And then side 1 and 2 is the chunk that's to the left of us on all these in between. So we have a little bit more code to write here, is all I'm saying. But it's not difficult to understand. So we're looking at first part of S1, just like right here. It's going to be split up in 2 parts, but we're actually going to have some code down here. If our column is greater than 0, our chunks column is greater than 0, then we're going to go to our get neighbor if we're down to here. If we've ended up here, if our nuggets column was not greater than 0, meaning it's equal to 0, and we're going to get the nugget index there, else then we will do that. But we also have to change this little piece of code up here. So else if our row is greater than 0, so here we were even. Our evens are always good. We'll always have a neighbor in the have its S1 neighbor in the same chunk. If our column is greater than 0, else if our row is greater than 0, and now else if our chunks row is greater than 0, we have a different situation here. And we're going to go the full level size back minus, or forward, minus the nugget count, minus one more. And that will give us our neighbor 1 in the case that we're now on the corner value. And that gives us S1. Now let's go down and do S2. I'll make almost or very similar changes. S2 actually has another situation. If our column is greater than 0 and our row plus 1 is less than the nugget count, we're going to do one thing. I've gotten so used to using my array lookup. It was actually a challenge to redo this in this manner. So else if our column is greater than 0 in our chunks row is less than, plus 1 is less than the common chunk span. What? Two. Stuff that has not been showing up in my telesense forever just starts showing up. Like Microsoft's trying to do a random algorithm like YouTube's algorithm, but with a telesense. Don't you want to use this one now? What about this one? Else, then we will do this. Going to move these down to 1. And hold on, I'm not finished with this. We got minus 1. So that's a long line code. Up here, above the C even, we're going to do, if it's C even, that is it. That should take care of our 1 and our 2s. So let's go test it out. And oops, got a 1 that is wrong. Alrighty, let's go back and check that. So it was inward. Column was greater than 0. Row is greater than 0. And in the column, row minus 1, nugget index plus. Ah. There we go. surprised it didn't give us an error for invalid index. Had nugget index there instead of nugget count. And let's move our smoothing back up to 25. And our faces slowly but surely disappear. They are not being used. I guess you could leave the outer edge there if you wanted to do some kind of end of the world thing. What, like Hero Wars or whatever that game is. All we are doing is setting up a level generator. Alright, let's jump to 4 and 5. Alright, go back to Visual Studio. We're going down to 4 and 5. First we'll do 4. I'd like to do the shorter one first. So if we're down here, we know that we're on the far column, the end column. And if our chunk column is not the last one, I'm going to get the chunk next door to it. And I want to get something from your first column. So going there. Really disgusting how long it took me to rewrite this in this manner. And these videos are going way too fast. They're just snap, snap, snap. Okay, above our even this time. So if we're an even column and we're now in the last row, we're getting our 4 from in front of us. And that's all we need from up here. And I need to put my else in down here. Let's change both of our default shapes to 1. Let's go to 5 now. And 5 somehow turns out to be our most complicated one. So if our column plus 1 is less than our chunk span, and our row is greater than 0, and our nuggets row is equal to 0, then we want to get that nugget from our neighbor. else if our column plus 1, we're going next door to us now. Well, we went next door to us last time, but went next door behind us last time. This time we're going just strictly next door to us. And our nugget row is greater than 0. I think that check is useless, but something inside of me makes me keep on redoing it. Else, change our defaults over to 1. Anyone using captioning, scroll down for you. Okay, so right here, else if our chunks row is greater than 0. And our level size, alright, our nugget index plus our level size minus the nugget count plus 1. And you did it to me again, Microsoft. I'm sorry I typed too fast. And that is it. Let's jump down here and test it out. Whoa! All gone. Okay. So we will be increasing, like I said before, the number of chunks we have. Right now we're just going to work with 9. Next up, we're going to modify the canvas to put some memory monitor stuff up here, and then we're going to work at getting our handle input moved over into our common. My microphone has been moved over to the side. Hope I don't have to record this whole video. See you next.